Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Minimalist Gourmet, where today I'll be teaching you how to make deep fried deviled eggs. This is the perfect side dish to any meal, it's guaranteed to impress, and best of all, they're actually quite easy to make, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll begin by bringing 6 eggs up to a very gentle boil and allow them to simmer here for about 9 minutes. You can go about 7 or 8 minutes if you'd like a little bit less done yolk. As soon as they're done, we need to stop the cooking process immediately. To do this, we're going to pour out all of that hot boiling water and top it up with nice, cool, fresh water. If you have some ice, you can add that in to cool it down even more. Allow them to come down to room temperature. While our eggs are cooling, we are going to prep up our bacon topping. Place a few rashers of bacon into a pan over medium heat and allow it to cook completely until your bacon is nice and crispy. Once your bacon is fully cooked and crispy, we're going to pull it out and place it into a bowl with a paper towel to allow it to drain. Later on, we'll go ahead and cut this up to top up our eggs. With our eggs down to room temperature, we need to peel them. I like to crack them on a nice hard surface and very, very gently roll them between my hands to crack open the shells. Now under running water, we are going to peel the eggshells away very carefully here until they are completely peeled. I'm sure you know how to do this already. By the way, pro tip, use the freshest eggs possible so you don't have this problem where it looks like they were already chewed when you peel them. If you have slightly older eggs, they will come out this way, but that's just the way things work sometimes. Now we're going to start building our filling here by cutting our eggs in half down the center and squeezing out the yolk into a nice big bowl. Make sure to clean your knife in between cuts so that you don't spread yolk all over your whites. With all of our eggs cut in half and the yolks in a bowl, we can start with our filling. Now we're going to begin with a little bit of salt, but not too much. The mayonnaise and mustard will have a little bit of salt as well. Add a little bit of ground black pepper. You can add granulated garlic, cayenne, and paprika. They are delicious as well. Now I like to start here with about 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. You can add a little bit more or less depending on your tastes. But this is a very good starting point. And we're going to go with about a half to 1 teaspoon of mustard. Use a fork or a spoon to crush down your yolks and mix it very well with your mayonnaise and mustard. Now, you can make this as smooth or as chunky as you desire. That is completely up to you. If you want a very, very creamy texture, you can actually put this into a food processor, but that isn't necessary. I'm going to test here for smoothness and flavor, and I think that this needs just about another teaspoon of mayonnaise. We'll mix that in and check the texture. This looks perfect to me, so we're going to stop here. Now, using a plastic bag or a Ziploc bag, we are going to create a makeshift piping bag. To do this, simply take something like a chopstick or the handle of a spoon, place it into the tip of your bag and press it down to the bottom of a small glass, as you can see here. Now, fold over the tops of the bag around the outside of the glass. This will create a nice, easy to fill container for us. Stretch out the bag the best you can and smooth it out so that way you don't trap a whole lot of big air bubbles in when you place your filling. Now we're going to spoon our filling directly into the bag until it's completely full, and we want to use our spoon to press this down once again to try to work out any air bubbles that might be in here. And we'll set this aside as it's used later. I've set up a 3-stage dredging system. The first bowl has all-purpose flour, the second bowl has an egg I've beaten well, and the third bowl has panko breadcrumbs. We're going to add salt and ground black pepper to our all-purpose flour and our panko breadcrumbs for seasoning. Again, you can add some paprika, some cayenne, granulated garlic. They will all go very well. We need to make sure that we do mix up the seasoning in the flour and the panko breadcrumbs so that it's all evenly distributed. If you've ever made fried chicken before, these next steps will look very, very familiar because it's the same exact process. We're going to begin by taking our eggs and placing them into the all-purpose flour and coating them very well before giving them a shake to make sure all the excess flour is removed. Next, we want to coat our eggs with our egg completely, but this is a little difficult to do and doesn't really want to stick to the flour. So I like to take a little bit of the egg, put it into the hollow cavity where the yolk used to be, and use my thumb to spread it around evenly and make sure that the entire surface is completely coated. Again, you want to make sure that there are no dry spots after going through the egg dredge. Pour out any excess egg and place it into the panko breadcrumbs. Now, gently coat your eggs with the panko breadcrumbs, making sure that the entire surface is completely covered. You can shake off any excess breadcrumbs as you take them out. You want to place these onto a plate and allow them to sit at room temperature for about 10 to 15 minutes. This will help ensure that that crust will set completely and will not slough off when we put it into the oil to fry. This is very critical. Don't be rushed and skip this step. I've preheated about an inch of oil over medium heat till it's reached about 350 degrees. I'm going to gently place my eggs into the oil to begin frying, and they're going to cook for a total of about 90 seconds to 2 minutes max. Now, this cooking process will go rather quickly, so don't walk away. Since the eggs are already fully cooked, you're really just crisping up the outside batter here. So you want to give them a flip about halfway through to make sure that they cook evenly on all sides and that they are nice and crisp. But again, this process is rather quick, so you shouldn't be frying them for over a minute and a half to 2 minutes. Once they've reached a beautiful golden brown and crispy texture here, we're going to pull them out. Make sure to turn them over so that you can get any excess oil out of that cavity where the yolk used to be, and place them onto a wire rack or a paper towel lined plate to cool. You need to let these sit at room temperature for about 3 to 4 minutes because if you pipe in the filling right now, it'll actually be too hot and will melt off. This will give us plenty enough time to cook up our second batch of eggs while the first batch of eggs comes down in temperature for a couple minutes. Our eggs are still nice and hot, but have sat for about 4 minutes so they aren't steaming hot. This is a perfect time to fill them. Now, if you want to skip this step, you can just spoon the filling into the eggs if you'd like, but I really do think that this makes them look so much nicer and is worth the extra couple minutes. I'm going to take my filling bag here and squeeze it down so I have a nice funnel shape with a tip and cut the end off with a pair of scissors. This will make a makeshift piping bag that we can use to fill our eggs. I like to hold the tip in place and fill the cavity and then begin to make a nice swirl shape as I pull out, just like this. This reminds me of working at Macca's back in high school and making those soft serve ice cream cones. You're just going to go around and evenly fill all of your eggs with the filling here until they are nice and beautiful. Off screen, I cut up our reserved bacon bits so that we can place some on top. This will add a nice smoky flavor as well as a light, chewy yet crunchy texture. Just sprinkle on a little bit of the bacon bits over each egg before finishing with a nice aromatic hit. Now I've chopped up some green onions here, but chives will also work equally as well. They create a nice aromatic balance with the crunchy texture of the eggs and the chewiness of that bacon and the richness of the yolk filling. And guys, it really is just that simple to make these delicious deep fried deviled eggs in your home tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching so much. I really do appreciate your time today, and I hope to see you all again here real soon on the next episode of The Minimalist Gourmet.